1 year after Helene devastated western North Carolina,
It's been frustrating for us.
we catch up with a lawmaker advocating for the recovery while facing a recovery at home.
God has used them in a tremendous way.
Then we catch up with a farmer we met and a pig that went viral after the storm.
Good job, Chowder!
But it's the farmer with some big political news to share.
I hadn't really considered it strongly for myself because I was so busy running the farm for so many years.
Then breweries were hit hard.
I don't even know what to say. Is that a train that destroyed your brewery?
It's a tale of two taps for two breweries facing intense damage and two very different futures.
I feel like we're well positioned because we are a community bar.
At this stage, to be honest with you, I don't have much of a plan.
Welcome into another edition of Front Porch Politics, the show that puts politics back into our communities. I'm Tim Boyum. This month we're in western North Carolina, marking a year since Hurricane Helene devastated part of this state. You know, one thing that stood out to me over the past year is how some areas look like nothing's happened. Then you turn the corner, and it looks like a bomb went off. The River Arts District here is one example of that. We got places that are about to reopen here on one side. On the other side, literally and figuratively, gutted still. So we're going to catch up with some of the people that we've talked to over the past year to see how they're doing 1 year later. And we start in Newland.
There's something soothing about a banjo by the creek in the mountains. But that creek double-crossed Dudley Green a year ago.
At one level or another, we're still dealing with Helene on a daily basis.
Is it exhausting?
It can be, yes, sir.
Green facing the recovery as a victim, but as an elected official as well.
My hometown doesn't even have a grocery store open yet.
But it's the help of volunteers, not the government, bringing us back today with incredible news.
God has used them in a tremendous way to bless our family.
I saw that picture, I was like, wow.
The sun is shining and the mood is bright in Newland.
Thank you for having us back.
Oh, yeah.
So good to
Yes,
see
sir.
you.
Come on in.
This is exciting.
Exciting because the view is much different today than the last time we saw Dudley Green.
This was a two-car garage, and it just leveled it completely down to the pad. I'm not sure it is fully sunk in yet.
Flooding from Helene stripped his house to the studs. Last winter, Green was hopeful volunteers might save the day and his childhood home. A group called Baptists on Mission.
They called us one day out of the blue and said they'd like to come out here and take a look and see if they could help us. And after their initial assessment out here, and they said, I think we can help you.
Today, a year after Helene, these volunteers answered his prayers. Power restored, a new roof overhead, and the Greens moved back home just days before we arrived. Outside, a brand new bridge courtesy of Samaritan's Purse. It took nearly a year, but they know they are blessed. As a state lawmaker, Green has heard the horror stories. With a flooded home back in Avery County last fall, Green had to split his time in Raleigh.
We were blessed in that I had that sister, and she allowed us to come in there and pile in on her. And we stayed there for a month. So, Freda, if you're listening, thank you.
As a state representative, he helped push through state funding for recovery. A year later, much like other storm victims, he remains frustrated by the slow pace caused by red tape.
You had to adopt a state action plan and have that out there for a public comment period, and then send it, once that was adopted, send it to Washington to be reviewed, and for another 45-day comment period before anything could really start. It had to get approval on that. And then there were the application processes and so forth.
But at the same time, as a state lawmaker, he understands the need to be careful with taxpayer dollars.
But we have tried, as we have allocated monies, not just to send a blank check and say, here this is. We have tried to put some guardrails in there so that we have assurance that it's going where it needs to go once it starts to flow. And the rains descended,
and the floods came.
During our visit last winter, I was struck by messages handwritten on the storm-worn studs. Today, drywall covers up that Bible verse, but it's still there.
I can't help but think somewhere behind this wall, right?
Yeah.
Is where that Bible verse was.
There were messages elsewhere, too.
Wichita, Kansas, and left a biblical reference there.
Handwritten by volunteers from all over the country who helped piece Dudley Green's home back together.
We asked them to sign a board for us, and at some point we're going to incorporate that into the decor.
Let's talk about the people that helped rebuild your house.
Some amazing people that I don't know what we would have done had it not been for those people who, out of the goodness of their heart, took time from their work and their daily lives to come down here and spend a week or maybe 2 or 3 weeks down here helping people in our circumstance.
So how do you feel about Kentucky Creek now?
It almost seems like that, you've had an old dog that's been loyal and faithful all those years and been a comfort to you, and just all of a sudden one morning it decides to bite you. And that's the way I felt about it. I won't say that we're fearful of it, but we're certainly we've gained a healthy respect for what can happen.
Last time, Dudley Green graciously agreed to play his banjo for us. He played Amazing Grace. This time, he chose How Great Thou Art, a hymn praising God's majesty, power, and love. Appropriate for a man whose faith guides him in a place where faith groups rebuilt his home, providing faith and hope. The next will bring a calm to Kentucky Creek and western North Carolina.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll head to Fairview and meet a farmer that we met who's now getting involved in politics. Stay with us. Welcome back to Front Porch Politics. I'm Tim Boyum. This month, we are marking 1 year since Hurricane Helene damaged and devastated parts of western North Carolina. We're meeting up with some of the people that we met over the past year. One of those folks was a farmer from Fairview. And the update, well, it involves politics.
So, this farm's been in my family for over 100 years.
A year after Helene, we are back on Jamie Ager's historic farm.
We're slowly but surely rebuilding everything, but we still haven't gotten any money to do it all, so we basically cash flowed his work over the last year.
We've got 1 tree on the power line, 2 trees on the power line.
Flooding from Helene ripped up fencing and washed away culverts.
Good job, Chowder!
Ager walked us through the damage last winter.
Pretty much all this was underwater, all through here.
Right through here.
Fall months are their best months to make money, but they were largely out of customers.
We made the decision just to go ahead and pay everybody while there was no revenue, which is, pretty risky activity to do.
They survived, but he says the entire region is still waiting government money that was promised in the recovery.
Is that a common refrain out here, is that people are still waiting for money?
Yeah. And a lot of businesses are down. Talking to Biltmore Estate the other day, they're down 30% year over year in visitors and stuff like that. That's hard to sustain.
But demand for locally sourced meat has kept his business afloat.
To me, that's a brand proposition that people are interested in and connected to my ideas about politics too, right? Like, we need deep values as part of our belief systems as a country to help make progress.
It might sound strange to hear a farmer talking politics, but that brings us to the biggest and perhaps most surprising update since we last saw Jamie Ager.
I see a video that you're running for Congress.
What?
My name is Jamie Ager, and I figured if I'm going to run for Congress, I should introduce myself and tell you why I'm running. So here goes.
That's right. This summer, Jamie Ager announced he's running for Congress.
This wasn't something I ever really seriously considered. And then, some people approached me, started talking to me about this idea. And, I pondered it for a while and talked to my wife a bunch. And the business is in a good place right now. We've built a good team of people.
Farming's a real job. You screw up, there are real consequences.
Egger's a Democrat, but does not shy away from criticizing his own party, a party looking to reconnect with working class voters.
I have been frustrated watching the Democratic Party progress over the last, 5 to 10 years around, the sort of urban focus of the party, the sort of intellectual focus of the party. And I think some of that translates into a holier than thou feeling among regular people that I don't even think they had self-awareness that was true.
Now, Jamie will tell you he never pondered a life in politics, but it does run in the family.
My dad served in the North Carolina legislature.
His dad was a state representative. His brother's a state lawmaker at this very moment.
Research shows that Head Start graduates have better school attendance, miss fewer tests, needs less special education, and have a lower dropout rate.
And his granddad, James Clark, served in Congress in the 1980s.
I retired officially at the end of 1990.
In this old C-SPAN retirement profile, you can see a young Jamie there in the green sweatshirt.
I'm named after him, so that always felt kind of special for me.
Egger's not the only Democrat running, and this district leans Republican. But when I asked Egger about that, it was a short and blunt answer.
We're going to win. Come out to Western North Carolina and spend dollars.
Last winter, Egger expressed concern about the region after Helene, a region that relies heavily on tourism. That concern remains.
We built this business with a lot of partnerships with local restaurants in the Asheville area, and a lot of those folks are really struggling right now. Tourism's way down in the region.
In his campaign, Egger has focused on the economy and hurricane recovery.
FEMA's supposed to come in and make and help repair everybody and provide funds and support and everything else. And I think oftentimes we have to acknowledge that bureaucracy and all these sort of red tape pieces cause that to be ineffective. And I think that's a real opportunity for us as a party, as a Democratic Party, is to not say, hey, everything's fine with all these bureaucracies, but to say, hey, we need to lean in and learn how to make these things work better. And that's good news because we can. There's opportunity here.
Before we left Hickory Nut Gap Farm, we had to get an update on a famous friend.
Want to go see Chowder?
Yeah, let's go see Chowder.
During Helene, a pig named Chowder needed rescuing.
Good job, Chowder!
We can happily report Chowder remains alive and well today.
So this is exactly where Chowder was whenever when the storm came last year.
She even has piglets. We met up in the fields. Oh, and that video, more than 8.5 million views in the past year.
Do you think Chowder knows that she's a superstar on social media?
Getting a big ego.
Yeah.
She's telling everybody about her TikTok.
Jamie Egger is going to have to get used to the spotlight as well, running for Congress, something he's already adjusting to.
My wife went to Tractor Supply and bought me a bunch of shirts because my shirts were all holy. And if you ask anybody that works for me knows I kind of dress not super fancy. But yeah, I had to buy a suit. So now I'm, and it fits. And my wife says I look good in it, even better.
All right, we got to take one more break. When we come back, we're back here in the River Arts District in Asheville, Beer City, USA. We get an update on 2 breweries, how they're doing a year later. Welcome back to Front Porch Politics. I'm Tim Boyum. This month we are in Western North Carolina, marking a year since Hurricane Helene and catching up with some of the people that we've met over the past year. We're here in the River Arts District, a place that was devastated, including the beer industry. So we're catching up with a couple breweries to see how they're doing 1 year later.
Kind of right here would have been where the people would sit at the bar. And then the tap tower would have been right over here.
A year after Helene flooded Asheville, it's still hard to grasp the damage.
So as you sit and stare at this a year later, how does it feel?
I suppose it just, it really has kind of settled in, the feeling of, it's kind of a new goal, I guess.
A new goal after Brian Fetting's dream as a brewery owner was sunk.
I came on Saturday night and it was probably 10 o'clock. It was really dark, so I just had a flashlight. But it was a war zone. I mean, there was active fires over here. There was just the constant hiss of punctured propane tanks. I was down here with the flashlight and looking around. What I didn't realize was that there was, a lot of fatalities in the area. And in this immediate vicinity, there was 12 bodies recovered.
This is what New Origin Brewing looked like before Helene. And this is what it looked like when we first met Fetting a year ago.
I don't even know what to say. Is that a train that destroyed your brewery?
Yeah, there's a train car on our bar top.
27 feet of water and a train car obliterated his brewery.
You say it out loud and it just sounds so absurd.
A year ago, a big business loan and uncertainty weighed like a train car on his shoulders.
If there was, a magic wand that said like, hey, you will be, then I think that would take a big weight off. But right now that there's so much uncertainty there that's really that cloud that hangs above us.
Today the tears are gone, but an unclear future remains.
What's the plan?
At this stage, to be honest with you, I don't have much of a plan.
But there is big news to report. More on that in a minute, but first we have a date to one of Asheville's oldest craft breweries.
The River Arts District is first and foremost a community of artists.
The funky art vibe of the River Arts District was pummeled by rain as Helene dumped inch after inch. Jay Monahan only made it as far as Wedge Brewing's original location less than a mile away.
We came up over the dock. We poured our last beers. We had a last iron rail and crossed our fingers and went up to the bridge.
That became sort of an important bridge, though, right?
It had to be 1,000 people up there. Everybody from curiosity from West Asheville to probably a lot of folks like me who were just looking to see if their livelihood still existed.
That location reopened in a month, but the River Arts location was not so fortunate.
This is our walk-in cooler over here. It was a complete loss. This is rebuilt.
As work wraps up to reopen, it's hard to imagine what it looked like last September.
It was 14.5 feet.
Essentially where you see that first sprinkler, that's how high the water was.
I asked if they will mark that spot to remember, but it turns out it's a spot they want to forget.
Our bartenders are tired of having that conversation, people come through and they ask, how bad was it, how bad was it, how bad was it, how high was it? They're ready to start talking about the future, moving on.
After a year of no beer in the River Arts District and the cost to rebuild, so many businesses face the question of moving forward or moving on. Tim Schaller founded Wedge Brewing back in 2008.
I was pretty sure pretty quick that I wanted to do it, but I'm also 79 and it's like, what am I going to do? And I like projects, so it was a challenge that way.
They are banking on reopening as the right choice as it reopens this fall. Last year, Brian Fetting told us he hoped some sort of assistance would come along. FEMA, a state fund, whatever, to keep his business, employees, and families afloat.
It seems almost selfish to hope for that.
What do you mean selfish? Is that like a survivor's guilt thing?
Sure, a little. There's so much going on that for us to think about. Our business is maybe a little selfish, but we certainly are. We want to not only put food on our tables, but our employees as well.
A year later, Brian has amazing news to share.
After all the incredible coverage and GoFundMe, all of those dollars went a really long way. And we were able to pay off the bank actually just last week.
A relief, but it also means his original investment has vanished.
What's the plan?
At this stage, to be honest with you, I don't have much of a plan. Right now, that last week was the plan. It had all been really leading up to how is this going to look? Are we going to keep our houses? Those kinds of questions were the questions we had to answer before we could do anything exciting.
He owns the land, but starting from scratch in a brewing industry facing headwinds remains a daunting task. On top of that, building here could face roadblocks with the city.
I love this property. It'll always have a place in my heart, but being able to rebuild here, unless these lots all come together or the city has a new plan, individually it's going to be really hard to develop.
Meanwhile, over at Wedge Brewing in the River Arts District, it's been a rough year, but they feel good about the future.
I feel like we're well positioned because we are a community bar. And so I don't really worry about people showing up for us.
Everybody's kind of has their eye on we talked about earlier, October, leaf season, and then next spring. We hope that as a town, we're all sort of keeping our fingers crossed that when April hits and the flowers start blooming next year, we're all hitting the ground running.
As we've been saying for the last year, our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Western North Carolina in this continued recovery. As we always say, we got to hit the road to find more incredible stories about incredible people here in the great state of North Carolina. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest information, balanced coverage, weather updates every 10 minutes, and more. We'll see you then.